Welcome, everyone. First of all, very happy to have the opportunity to talk to you all again. The presentation will be recorded, so everybody that register, Emily will probably provide the recording both in the ASWF Slack channel as well as to attendees by email, I think, afterward. So feel free to redistribute the recording for those who missed it. And because of the recording, we'll ask people to please stay on mute for the duration of the presentation, and we'll have a round of Q&A at the end of the presentation. There's a nice Q&A feature in Zoom, so let's try to use that. I'll facilitate, but if there's questions that are going in the chat in the meanwhile, I should be able to catch those too. My name is Guillaume. For those who don't know me, I'm the Director of Engineering for the flow production tracking product family, including the commercial version of RV. And I'll be here today alongside Alain Compagnat and Bernard Laberge to talk about OpenRV, the great things we did last year, and maybe some exciting announcement of stuff that we will release pretty soon or today even. So like I said, I'm the Director of Engineering for the ShotGrid product family. My background is in computer engineering and cloud services development. I've been at Autodesk for over 10 years. I won't say the real number when it's showing my age, so I'll just keep it over 10 years. And I joined the shotgun team right at acquisition by Autodesk. So I was not part of the original folks, but I joined the team right when they joined Autodesk. And my main role with that team for a long time has been to lead the infrastructure team and the ShotGrid service through its cloud transition. So I've been leading multiple engineering teams throughout the years. I'm now managing the whole engineering team for the production tracking family. And I've been part of the Academy Software Foundation Open Review Initiative Technical Steering Committee since late in 2022 when the Open Review Initiative was created. Alain?
Hi, everyone. I see a lot of familiar name here, so a lot of you already know me, but for those who don't know me, I'm Alain Compagnat. I'm Senior Software Development Manager at Autodesk. I started my journey at Autodesk 23 years ago, so I'm going to tell the real number here. I guess I'm more courageous than Guillaume. So I started as an engineer and worked on Flames, so some of you probably know Flames also. And I moved to the flow production tracking team known as ShotGrid in 2017 to manage all the ShotGrid review product offering that we had, that was including RV also. So we open source RV 18 months ago, and this is where I become the TSC chair for this project. So hi everyone, I'll give it to Bernard.
Hello everyone, I'm Bernard Laberge. I'm on the OpenRV Technical Steering Committee, and I'm a principal software developer at Autodesk in the Media and Entertainment division. And before working on RV, I was on the Autodesk Flame development team. And in another life before that, 12 years ago, I was on the Avid DS and Avid Media Composer development team. Thank you for joining us today.
Great, so jump right into it. The content of our presentation today, just a first stop, we'll go quickly over the execution strategy that we promised we will execute on when we originally open source RV alongside the Academy Software Foundation. Then Alain will talk about some of the key achievements that we did on OpenRV in 2024, but it's more since the last six graph really, when we had that virtual town hall last year. And Bernard was going to get into the more interesting part of the presentation with stuff that we didn't announce yet and some exciting demos. And we'll close just by reviewing the roadmap a little bit together, looking at what we could be tackling next, and maybe have a discussion with you guys about that. OpenRV strategy. So if you remember last year, it's more than a year now, a year and a half, when Autodesk announced that they were going to open source RV, we had a couple of key objective in mind. The first objective was to accelerate development. Things that having what they have been, RV was not seeing the progress we wanted, and open sourcing RV for us was really a way to tap into a larger pool of developers and be able to accelerate the development of some feature in open RV. We also wanted to empower users, allowing customers to fix and prioritize the things that they wanted to see seeing the day in OpenRV. And finally, continue Autodesk engagement to promote open source. If you recall, I did a presentation about 2 years ago at Open Source Days where I explained a little bit like the history around the open source of RV. It was not the first time we considered it. RV has been built with open source in mind. It's modular. It was a little bit always in the back of the mind of the original RV founders when they built it, and we wanted to honor that. And through that, one of the mandate that we've given ourselves is to try to foster adoption of open RV as much as we can. So you remember I've shown that slide a couple of times already, but this is a little bit the plan we set for ourselves when the decision was made. So in the first phase, it was really just getting the OpenRV product in the hand of the community as fast as possible. And to do that, we decided to remove some blockers to open source that we had to go through, knowing it will probably prevent some users to adopt because these were sometimes important user for an important feature for users, but we really wanted the code out as soon as possible. And that phase one was completed, in fact, when we open source RV in January 2022. So since then, we've been executing on phase two. And phase two was to slowly reintegrate those blockers in the application. So sometimes the challenges were technical, sometimes the challenges were legal, but we will present today in this presentation why we consider that phase two to be completed as per, I would say today, or maybe by SIGGRAPH or soon after SIGGRAPH. After that, so doesn't mean that it's the end of the road for the OpenRV TSC and for Autodesk people helping driving it. We are renewing our engagement to continue to foster adoption of OpenRV, and we believe that we'll do that through facilitating the consumption of the product, working on features and capability you want in terms of improving graphic capabilities and any other things that you would like to see. And for sure, we know that wide adoption of OpenRV cannot happen without the reintegration of the connection to flow production tracking, something that we'll have something to say about later today in the presentation. So with that, let me introduce Alain, who will underline some of the key development to OpenRV that happened since our virtual town hall last year.
Guillaume, can you go to the next slide?
Yeah, and I'll give you control for the next.
Thank you. Good. So we have been putting a lot of effort to update a lot of components in RV last year. So as you already know, there's a bunch of those components that are grouped under the VFX reference platform. And when we launched OpenRV on January 23, we launched with the calendar year's 22 standard. So over the last 12 months, we've been updating to calendar year 23. When we completed that, we did it in an approach of like feature branch, but we realized it was a lot harder for that work to happen in parallel to everything else. So for calendar year 2024 that we just started, we are adding a build switch, so you can either compile with 23 or with the in progress calendar year 24. So that's a great addition and flexibility that you have, and it allows us to deliver that incrementally while we're also working on the bug fixes and the other features. So that's a nice improvement. For the calendar year 24, there's going to be a big milestone in there, which is an update to Qt6. So as you if you don't know, like it's heavily, our OpenRV is heavily relying on Qt, and a lot of work will need and is required to update to Qt6. So that's work in progress. We're working on that. I still don't see the control for the slide, so yeah, thanks. Another component that we updated last year is the Open Color IO library. This was a long-standing request for RV to update that component. Something that was not easy in the past. With the work that has been done on the build system in OpenRV, it make it a little bit more easier, so that that allows us to tackle it this year. We took the approach of doing it in multiple phases. First phase, updating to version 2, allow you to support both config, like the previous configuration as well as the new configuration. It was delivered this year in March, and we delivered the second phase, which is actually the phase that everyone or most of the people were looking for, is the new GPU API that is faster and more precise for the transform. So that's what we deliver related to OCIO. Next slide, please. Another very important component for RV, as you know, it's FFmpeg, and it was updated last year, and this is we're pretty pleased with the way it happens, actually. So at first, it was requested by multiple users from the community as well as our commercial user base. Second, this is the cue for Guillaume. Thank you. Someone in the community decided to take a stab at it and do a first PR to update FFmpeg to version 6.1.1. So thanks to Dark Defender for this great initiative. And then we took over, so we decided to take the last step and finalize the PR and the repo to actually just implement it and also do the proper testing, so we make sure that we're going to keep RV working well with that new RV version. So it was a very successful community effort, and we want more of these. So thanks a lot. And next, we also increased the OS support for OpenRV on top of everything that was already supported. We had Rocky Linux 8 and 9. This is giving a little bit more flexibility, and it's also a good replacement for CentOS that is currently end of life. The community also helped on that front by improving the support of Ubuntu and even some other Linux distribution that people have been starting to use RV with. On the Apple side, we recently, just like this week, I think, put back the support for native Apple Silicon, and we also now have the support for Xcode 15. So we're continuing keeping RV up to date on those things. Part of our original intent when we open source RV, we also wanted to make sure that RV commercial user will have the opportunity to help themselves by contributing to OpenRV, and also leverage what's happening in OpenRV. So when we did the first work to open source RV, we had to fork RV 23. So therefore, there was not, like, RV 23 was not really built on top of OpenRV. But now, this year, we released our first version, which is RV 24 and 24.1. That are completely built on top of OpenRV, which means everything that goes in there will end up being in the commercial version, which is great. Our approach now is to do everything that we can to put the functionality or the feature or defects, whatever the fix we have, we put it in OpenRV first, and then we at some point package it in the commercial version. So we're very pleased with the constant interest and growth in the community. So we're happy to see more and more contributors submitting PRs, triggering discussion, joining TSC meetings. So we've seen a lot of interest during the year. It's people are contributing, so we're pretty happy with that. Next slide, please. So contribution are coming from both studio or individual contributors. You can see the contribution types vary from like either component updates, like we saw with FFmpeg, like support for some Linux distribution, optimization. We see optimization coming in from some people, features, bug fixes. So you can see like a few examples on that slide, name of the top contributors that we had over the past year. So next slide, please.
Yeah, before you continue, I just want to underline like that. Sometimes it may not seem like that much, but especially in the fixes side, it saves our developers so much time when it's identified and that some progress is made by the community on the fixes. So again, community is growing. This is one of the key things that we really want happen. I cannot emphasize that enough. Where sometimes the TSC is driving some decision on what's going to happen or not. We had our agenda, especially like spending a lot of time on refactoring the RV core so we can build around OpenRV to accelerate the throughput and all of that. But really starting this year, and this is why I really wanted to put a check mark on that phase 2 things. We're going to listen to the community for the next step. So don't hesitate to engage. Don't hesitate to participate. It's even better. That will drive a lot of the things that we'll do in the upcoming year.
Good. So as you can all see, like we had a lot of contribution from the community. Another aspect that we've been working on was to, like during the last years, to engage with other commercial partners that were using NRV to increase the offering of OpenRV and close the gap actually with the commercial version. So I will now pass it to Bernard, who will be talking about some of the success story on that front.
We should have added the drum roll or something. That's...
Oh, no. So today I'm going to show you what has been recently added or is coming soon into OpenRV. So coming soon is the flow production tracking integration. So before where those flow integration tracking integration package were only available with commercial RV. So we refactored all those packages so they're installable and usable by OpenRV. And to do that, because it's composed of 7 different packages, we've added like a new functionality. So you can now, the new concept of bundle. So it's basically a zip file of different packages. So they're together and you zip them together and it makes the installation much easier. So the RV PKGS. So now like for this, in this example, this is composed of 7 different packages zipped together. And when you install them, you have them available in OpenRV. And this is going to be made available for download shortly in the flow production tracking, which used to be called ShotGrid. And I don't know if I have the next slide.
You should have.
I think I have the... Sorry.
Good.
No. Okay. Okay, so once installed in OpenRV, that gives you access to, like for example, is the screening room for OpenRV integration. Screening room allows you to review high-res, uncompressed media and local media and still stay connected to your flow production tracking data. And next, sorry.
You should have access, Bernard. Try it out again.
Okay.
Is it working?
Just a second. No, I don't have the UI that I had yesterday. Sorry.
I'll do it.
Okay, and then the next is the flow production tracking data OpenRV integration. So this allows you to your custom develop like RV packages to have access to the flow production tracking data. So this is an example where the info panel is populated with data from the flow production tracking database. Next. And then we have the live review beta for OpenRV. Live review makes it easy for you to create a shared review session in OpenRV that others can join with an invite link. So it's pretty much the same thing as if as easy to use as Zoom, and that can connect multiple review participants from anywhere in the world. So this is now available in OpenRV. Next. And then also it comes with the Python console, which is pretty useful to run Python scripts interactively inside of OpenRV.
So all of this is available, I just want to be clear, in OpenRV, but for the integration to work, you need an active and valid flow production tracking subscription. This is true for everything you saw here, including the live review feature.
Next. Okay, this is our first, this was merged last week. So this is our first video output plugin based on the video output API in OpenRV. It's now available. It's the NDI video output plugin. So the SDK is not provided by OpenRV. It has to be installed first by downloading the SDK and installing it from the NDI website. And once it's installed, the build or OpenRV build system will recognize it and build the NDI plugin, video output plugin. So it's seamless, and if it's optional. So if the SDK, NDI SDK is not installed, it doesn't prevent the build system from working. It's just you're just not gonna have the NDI video output, and all the details on the README, so you don't have to take any notes. It's in the GitHub OpenRV README file. Next. So now I'm going to show you a little demo, because it's not trivial to activate you have to see it once and then you're okay. So to activate the video output plugin, you have to go in the OpenRV prefs, video tab, select the NDI module, and checkbox that one, the use as presentation device. You only have to do it once because it's saved in the OpenRV settings. And to toggle the presentation mode, the video output on and off, it's in the view presentation mode menu. And here I'm using the NDI tool video monitor on the same system, but it could be on any system connected to the same Ethernet network. And it shows the NDI stream generated by OpenRV. And next. Also, that was merged yesterday, the video output Blackmagic design video output plugin. Same principle. Now the SDK has to be downloaded from the Blackmagic site, but you don't need to install anything. It's just to download the SDK right now and to add the configure phase to point it to so that the RV, the build system, knows where to find it, the zip file, and rebuild. But we're in discussion right now with the Blackmagic so that we might be able to even merge whatever is required to build the Blackmagic OpenRV plugin. So this step might not be necessary in the future. But again, all the details on the README in the OpenRV Git repo. Next, we're gonna show a little demo, same principle. And here I'm using a Blackmagic Decklink 8K Pro in an external enclosure because I have a laptop, but it could be on your system. So same thing, OpenRV video pref. You can select the card, and it can be the Blackmagic. So it could be you might have like multiple cards as well in your system. They're going to be listed there. Again, use as presentation device that only has to be done once, and it's saved between relaunch of OpenRV, and you toggle the presentation mode with that menu or the keyboard shortcut. And that's the Blackmagic video output. And next, it's not merged yet, but it's coming soon. The AGA video output plugin in OpenRV, same principle. But this time, the SDK is not provided by OpenRV, but it's available on the public GitHub repo. So the build system is able to fetch it automatically. So we're gonna do another demo using the IO 4K Plus this time. same thing. Note that this is a Mac, but all those, this is a demo on the Mac, but it's the same video output functionality is supported on all 3 supported platforms, like on Mac, Windows, Linux.
And I see you have like the 3 devices available at the same time. Bernard, are you doing some magic or?
Yeah, no, because I'm fully equipped. I've got all, all the hardware, thanks to you, Guillaume and Alain.
Unlimited budget coming from the Academy Software Foundation.
That's it.
That's very great. I cannot underline like all the work that needed to happen behind the scenes, like to first get the Nix Foundation and the Academy Software Foundation comfortable with an approach to make it as easy as possible for you guys to enable those integration in OpenRV, but at the same time being compliant with what the commercial provider requirements are. So I think I'm going to go a bit ahead, but Jean-François in the chat had some question about why you need to do that step. What if you need to include that in an automatic build system? The downloading the SDK from a user standpoint seems to be one of the key things that the commercial provider are not budging from. So usually when we're doing noise integration, we can include headers, even CCP file, and they're fine with that. But that's kind of the steps that they require for you to kind of seal the engagement that you have with those commercial companies. So for the WGCI initiative, Jean-François, it will be interesting actually to see how far we can go with that. I would doubt that from our standpoint, from the Academy Software Foundation standpoint, there is much we can do. But if a specific studio wants to build some kind of integrated build system around that, and they want to strike a specific agreement with them, they're pretty open to that. So I think Bernard, we added in the documentation. Do we added the contact to the different commercial provider finally in the README or something?
Yes.
So
yes.
So like in the README for the OpenRV and in the code, the source code, we're trying to explain a little bit with some disclaimer how the relationship with those vendors should be established from a studio standpoint. So you have contact over there. We're trying to explain for each commercial company, and we'll do that for open source codec too, by the way. Again, just to make sure that we're doing as much as we can to help you guys consuming it. Unfortunately, liars are always never very far away. So I still encourage you guys to validate with your legal department and those commercial provider when you'll start leveraging it, just to make sure that you're covered. Great work, and most of that has been made possible because of Bernard. So again, nice work, and thanks a lot to everyone that contributed. So that's the bulk of the stuff that we worked on and released last year. As you can see, like there's a lot of exciting stuff that have been released. Good chunk of our work has been to refactor the OpenRV around the OpenRV core. Now that's been done, you're seeing we're releasing stuff at a much more interesting cadence. So we hope that it will stay like that for the upcoming year. And it's not the only things we worked on. We're always exploring ideas and collaborating with the community. So for those being at SIGGRAPH or Open Source Days in Denver, the upcoming weekend and next week, we'll also present some tech demos that we have collaborated with different entities. So at NAB a couple of months back, AWS and Bernard was there to represent the Academy Software Foundation and Autodesk, presented a tech demo of AWS CDI streaming across OpenRV instances, developed in collaboration with Edge, Autodesk, and AWS. That demo proved that it was possible to provide visually lossless signal to ground using an AWS setup where OpenRV runs on a cloud instance, And then you can use OpenRV kind of as a hybrid theater, virtual theater, to stream content to external displays using AWS CDI and an Aja virtual Kona plugin. At SWF Open Source Days on Sunday, DG Raming, Senior Specialist Solution Architect at AWS, will present how that can be achieved and will provide an update on the progress that was made since NAB. And I'll be there maybe to make a small presence to assist him during his presentation. One of the other kind of tech project that we investigated last year, if you recall, we did a proposal at SIGGRAPH to have a message format, open message format for synchronizing review. And the idea was to base it on OTIO and make it application agnostic, so review can be synced across any application, desktop or web, that has implemented the support for that messaging format. The idea between leveraging Open Timeline IO is that there's a lot of work that has been put by the Open Timeline IO team to express time. So we were thinking that by leveraging that format in our messages, if you're familiar with OTIO, leveraging the rational time and time rate schema to synchronize time would be a good idea and something that will facilitate consumption. Knowing also that a lot of studios and applications already know OTIO, we thought, and we kind of proved that, and we're going to run that tech demo at the Bird of a Feather at Open Source Days at SIGGRAPH on Monday, that it's feasible, and not only feasible, but up to a point kind of easy to integrate such a messaging forget mechanism in your application. So check it out. We'll have something to present with Walt Disney Animation Studios, Sony Picture Interactive, and DNEG, alongside Autodesk, where we will demonstrate the feasibility of that proposal. So again, I'm not going to stay on that slide for too long, but people that want to take a screenshot or something, this is when those presentations will happen. So Sunday at the Open Source Days, DJ Raming presenting OpenRV in the cloud, and on Monday at the Bird of a Feather session, presentation around OpenRV. To summarize the presentation, I'll invite Alain back on the virtual stage so he can give us an overview of the OpenRV roadmap for next year.
Thanks, Guillaume. So here you can see the public roadmap that you can find on the GitHub under the ASWF organization. The done and the now column have kind of already been covered in this presentation. So I will get your attention on the next column. The work that we're planning there can be divided in 3 different types of things. So we want to secure OpenRV build make it stable, making sure it keeps stable by implementing some CI in there. Second, we also want to keep OpenRV up to date for many different reasons, get the latest feature performance improvement from different components, but as well keeping it secure. And third, we know that it is critical for you to understand what's happening when things are going wrong in the studio. So we want to spend some time on improving on the troubleshooting front a little bit there. So planning some work around the log, crash dumps, things like that. This is the next item, and we'll start on that very soon. Here you can see the current backlog. So these are the bigger items that we have in the current backlog. They have not yet been prioritized. This is your opportunity to either add to the list or help prioritize those items. We want to hear from you. So I want to offer you the opportunity to join the OpenTSC monthly meeting, to voice your opinion, to vote on those things, tell us what you need, tell us what you want. We're pretty open to hear from you and help prioritize those things. So you can find the meeting schedule for the OpenRV TSC meeting, the monthly. I put the URL below this slide. You can see it right now. So just follow that link and you'll be able to register to that OpenRV monthly or any of the ASWF meeting that you might want to join. This is all available on that public calendar. And I think we're going to go in Q&A now.
Yes, so reminder, you can use the Q&A feature in Slack to ask your question. I don't see any question right now. You can also use the chat. I'm not sure if Emily will aid me for that, but you can also just unmute yourself and ask the question directly if you want.
I got a question about the ShotGrid or sorry, Flow plugins. If you add those, is that going to require doing the login to ShotGrid immediately, or is that just when you actually start up the kind of ShotGrid plugins themselves?
A good question. I don't think once installed, I guess you're gonna get the first login view, but I think there is a way to disable that if you don't want to log in directly into ShotGrid right away, because I think that's the default for the plugin once it's installed. But we can work it out we can discuss this after.
That would be cool.
Yeah, let's validate, because I think part of the work that you did, Bernard, was actually to decouple that. So if it's not exposed, we could not do it. Like, and by the way, it's one of the reasons why, the minor reason why we didn't include it last year. Everything was tightly coupled with RV and OpenRV, the way to log in into ShotGrid when you were doing the connection. So we kind of changed the flow a little bit, allowing for us to make it optional at the end, only when you want to connect, if a little bit more like when you're joining a live review session in OpenRV. So let's validate that, Bernard.
That's a good point, because only want to do it when you need it.
Definitively, yep. So I have a question from Briz Gaddis in the Q&A. Is there a new tag release planned soon? Where is the best places to watch for these?
Or you're talking about the tag in Git, I guess, like tagging the release in Git. If that's the case, we should have one that's coming pretty soon. We're trying to align those tags with the commercial version as much as we can, because we know that at that point we have like spent a lot of time and effort testing and validating that all those pieces are working well together. So it's a good moment for us to just tag those things. So yes, there's one that should be coming from, but there's a few more steps that needs to be complete before we do it.
And maybe because the question is around, go ahead.
And like joining the monthly will probably give you visibility on that. I'm just pushing there so people join the monthly. But we can also I know, agree to post those tag release in the Open Review Initiative also, if you want.
I'm curious, Brice, is there like any reason? Is this the way you're consuming it at your studio? Is it because of automation? Like what?
Yeah, I was just curious, just how to keep track of that. When I hear about these projects, I usually look on GitHub and look for the releases. That's just kind of generally how I track these projects. So.
Makes sense. Let's make sure we discuss that. I think it's maybe something we can definitely improve there. On the to get back to some of the things that Bernard said when he talked about the fact we could now release stuff in OpenRV first. The way we're usually making that decision, like Bernard said, is because we're doing the implementation in OpenRV anyway. It's usually going to be released there first. But there's some exception to that, and it's mostly related to anything commercial. So now when we're releasing let's say integration with the Blackmagic design display set of hardware. We now have to kind of manage things for both entities. So we have to come up with an agreement with Autodesk for the commercial version of RV, and we need to get to an agreement with the Academy Software Foundation and the Linux Foundation for the open RV version of it. So that could sometime explain why, like in the case of Asia, the feature will show up in commercial RV or RV first, or open RV first. But usually, all in all, we're going to try, and that's our ultimate goal that didn't change from last year, to keep both versions as close as possible to each other. Any other question on the content that was provided, like the Jean-François, is ARM support for Windows, Linux on the roadmap? As of last week, there are now ARM runners available for GitHub Actions runners. Bernard, Alain, thoughts on that?
This is not on the radar for now. So if this is something that some people want, like, we need to understand exactly the reason for those and put it on the backlog, but this is not on the radar.
Jean-François, would that simplify any type of continuous integration work we would want to do around OpenRV?
Well, in a way, it would complicate it. Would be one more dimension in the matrix. I guess it's the question of how successful, in particular, ARM on Windows is going to be. Right, we're starting to see ARM-based laptops for Windows for that. And if that actually catches on, then I imagine that there will be people will want to start running RV on that. But I don't think there's a big demand right now, except for maybe also RV on Raspberry Pis, which is not that crazy. Like, you could make a nice little review station for really cheap.
Yeah, it's not an ask I've heard often on my side, so I'll be curious if the other TSCs are getting requests for that. But it's been quiet on the ARM front, at least as far as I know. Anything that people were hoping to see announced today that you didn't saw, or adoption blockers at your studios for OpenRV? We know about the build that we invested in, but that is not maybe as easy yet as people would like it to be. So that's why you've seen a couple of items in our next column about continuous integration. So Jean-François, you'll hear more from us for sure in the coming months. We're going to work with your group to make sure we try to simplify that as much as we can. But yeah, anything else in terms of adoption blocker for OpenRV at your studios, or even for your personal projects? Good. So if there's no more question, I just wanted to thank you all for joining the session. It's been a pleasure collaborating with you since we open sourced RV, whether through the Open Review Initiative TSC or the Open RV TSC. Honestly, that's been one of the great thing in my day-to-day last year. So the team enjoy it. It's a great community, and we encourage you again to continue to engage, whether by open sourcing some proprietary plugins you may have or that you may use at your studios. This is one area on my side I wanted to make more progress last year than I did. I know there's a lot of companies that have some great tools. Cotolengo, Leon from SPI is going to demo some kind of cool work on that area that I hope will help foster development of plugins for OpenRV, but maybe even for other review projects like Xstudio. So this is an area I really hope to see people engage a little bit more. And again, we have the workforce we have, any type of feature you want, if you're willing to partner, provide help, it's something that will greatly help prioritizing the features you want in OpenRV. So Alain said it a couple of times, join us on the OpenRV monthly, RV monthly, join the Slack channel if you're not already in there, follow us on GitHub, and for those at SIGGRAPH, please stop by, grab me by the arm, let's have a conversation. I should be there most of the day for the Academy Software Foundation Open Source Days, as well as the Better Feather on Monday. So again, thanks a lot for joining. Thanks, Alain, Bernard, for the help on the presentation. And everybody, have a great day.